Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Friday the 13th, the game. Today we're back here at Camp Crystal Lake, though I wish it was under happier circumstance, because it's looking like this game, pun intended, is officially dead in the water, at least according to its publisher, Gun Media. So I'm sure you guys are all well aware of the current situation involving the lawsuit over the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have another video that I did where I break down the entire situation, link to that down there in the description, but the TLDR is basically this. The rights to the franchise are up in the air, and therefore IllFonic and Gun Media are no longer allowed to add any more content to Friday the 13th, the game. This was obviously shocking news to the entire community. We had no idea this was going to be happening, but most of us took the news with a bit of optimism, right? Because we assumed that once the legal disputes were over, things would go back to business as usual, and they would actually add content to the game again. For those who don't know, they have been working on Uber Jason, which of course is from Jason X. They were also working on a new map called Grendel, as well as a couple of counselors, but it turns out none of that will ever be coming to the game, according to Gun Media head Wes Keltner. In an official forum post yesterday, he wrote, "Hey campers, sorry for the silence as of recent. It's been a tough couple weeks, as I'm sure you're aware, but I wanted to address a few questions that I've had sent to me personally, as well as questions we've received through the official Friday the 13th channels. These questions vary, but all have a similar tone/request. Is there a chance of any content being added to the game if a ruling on the dispute occurs in the near future?" The answer is no. Development on games can't just pause indefinitely and pick back up again. It doesn't work that way, especially when you have no idea when that future date will occur. We can't keep building content that may never see the light of day. That's bad business. I've also had questions about adding non-Friday the 13th related content to the game, like can't you make a new level or a new counselor that has nothing to do with the films? We can't do that either. We can't add any content whatsoever. Nada. Not even a new tree or rock. We can only focus on console dedicated servers, bug fixes, and maintenance. I know this isn't the news you wanted to hear, and I wish the situation were different, but it's the painful truth. I appreciate your passion and look forward to seeing everyone around camp. Man, that is some really, really bad news. So basically what they're saying here is regardless of how the lawsuit plays out, they are finished with this game. No more content will be coming. For all intents and purposes, they are done with Friday the 13th, the game. Now, they did say they're going to do bug fixes and routine maintenance, and they're going to try to add dedicated servers to console, which I'll believe that when I see it. But basically, they're saying here, they're done with this game, and a lot of people are viewing this as a cop-out by Gun Media. It's no secret that Friday the 13th was a wildly successful game for them, right? They're a small indie publisher. They're working with IllFonic. They put out this game that had a massive Kickstarter backing and got a lot of attention because of the premise alone. Like, if this game was not tied to Friday the 13th, I don't think people would care for it all that much, but people did care because they brought Camp Crystal Lake to life. They brought Jason Voorhees to life, and to that extent, I think it was a wildly popular and successful game. But over the course of the past couple of months, things have not been going very well for the game. Using Steam Spy here, we can look at the player count on Friday the 13th and compare it to another game in the same genre in Dead by Daylight, and the two aren't even really comparable. They keep adding things to Friday the 13th, or at least they did while they could, but it didn't really do anything to resurge the player base or get more people buying the game or anything like that. So a lot of people are looking at this announcement as Gun Media's way of just getting out of the entire situation, right? They feel as though they've invested enough into the game, and now they just want to be done with it and start work on another project, which is a huge disappointment if you ask me. They keep saying that this news is heartbreaking for them, and to an extent I'm sure it is, but it seems like if they were really dedicated to this game, they would continue making content for it, right? Because as of right now, neither Gun Media or IllFonic are working on anything. They haven't made any announcements of starting a new project or working on different games or even having layoffs in their studio despite all this happening. For all intents and purposes, they're saying, yeah, we still have our full staffs. We're all still here in the studio. We're just not going to be doing anything for the foreseeable future, which doesn't really make a ton of sense. Like, I really do hope that somehow this is all just a front that they're putting on for the sake of the lawsuit, and secretly in the background, they are still working on Uber Jason and the Grendel map and the other counselors. That would be so fantastic because it really doesn't make sense for their entire studio to all be working on bug fixes. Like, you would think that if that's their only priority right right now that all the bugs would be fixed within the next couple of weeks, so I have a feeling that's not going to happen. Now, another rumor that's going around right now is perhaps they will shift their attention from Friday the 13th to another old horror movie franchise, like, for example, Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street. I personally think that would be awesome. Like, if you were to take the entire concept of the Friday the 13th game and apply it to Halloween, where instead of Jason Voorhees, we have Michael Myers, and instead of Camp Crystal Lake, we have Haddonfield, I personally think that would be a lot of fun. I would love to play that game, but at the same time, I already like this game, right? I love the Friday the 13th franchise. It's my favorite movie series of all of them, and there is so much more they could have added to this game to make it better and make it last for years and years to come. There are plenty of Jasons they could have added to the game, plenty of maps based on different movies they could have added to the game, plenty of counselors and kill packs and single player missions and everything, but it's looking like they are done. They are using this lawsuit as a cop-out to cease all production on Friday the 13th, the game, which is a huge disappointment if you ask me. Now, I would like to end off the video here by giving you guys some positive news about the game, and that news is that right now, because of the Steam Summer Sale, Friday the 13th is currently 50% off, as is all of its DLC, and I highly recommend buying the game if you guys haven't already. Now, I know it sounds like I'm giving you mixed signals. I'm telling you to buy a game that is going to die in the very near future, but hear me out on this. If you want to experience Friday the 13th the game, now is actually the best time to do so, because not only is it half off, but the player base is as big now as it ever will be again. With them not adding any more content, the player base is going to dwindle down to a couple hundred players over the course of time, but for right now, it's got a pretty populated player base, right? You can actually hop on, get into a match pretty quickly, and have some fun and experience the game, and you can also play the single player and offline as well. It's a much more complete game now than it was back when it released, so if you want to actually experience the game while it still has a player base, now would be the best time to go ahead and do that. I truly do hope that, again, this is all just some big front by Gun Media and IllFonic as part of the lawsuit, and they are still working on content, but right now it really is looking like they are done with content for this game, and as always, I will keep you guys updated with more information as the story develops, but as of right now, very, very bad news for Friday the 13th, the game. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you guys here in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section below, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.